Iowa Debris and Jennifer Lopez on talent.
Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Cake Radio Show. I'm the CakeDive, and I hope y'all are doing well because today, on the 16th day of Vlogmas, we're talking about TikTok and how they're going away. So today, the news is broke that TikTok has filed an appeal with the Supreme Court to seek an emergency injunction to block the U.S. law that is attempting to force TikTok to either sell themselves to a U.S. owner or to be banned in the United States completely from going into effect. In a statement, TikTok said, the Supreme Court has an established record of upholding Americans' right to speak. Ooh, spit it out. Oh my God. The Supreme Court has an established record of upholding Americans' rights to free speech. Today, we are asking the court to do so what it has traditionally done in free speech cases, apply the most rigorous scrutiny to speech bans and conclude that it violates the First Amendment. The company continued, the TikTok ban results in a massive and unprecedented censorship of over 170 million Americans on January 19, 2025. Estimates show that small businesses on TikTok would lose more than $1 billion in revenue and creators would suffer almost $300 million in lost earnings in just 1 month unless the ban is halted. So, obviously, people have been following the journey of the United States trying to get TikTok banned for a long time. This has been something that's been happening for years. It's been a very much tit for tat of the United States questioning TikTok and the security risks that it could hold because it's owned by ByteDance, which is a Chinese-owned company. There was the attempt in which they were trying to force it to be sold to a U.S. buyer, and Oracle and Microsoft and a few different other companies were attempting to acquire majority ownership of the company. That never happened. That didn't go through. And then the bipartisan bill that was signed to ban TikTok was, approved and signed into law. And now TikTok is kind of trying to appeal and fight its way through getting this ban into effect. And, it seems like this is going to be something that is not going to end well. People were asking President-elect Donald Trump if he would do anything about it, and he said, we'll take a look at TikTok. Mind you, he was one of the politicians who was trying to get TikTok banned or trying to get them to be sold to a U.S. owner as well. So this is an issue that has been campaigned on regardless of political regime, political administration, and political party. There's something that both sides of the political aisle want, seemingly, because there is the thoughts, again, that because of the fact that the TikTok platform is Chinese owned, and that there's going to be security risk, or that the data that Americans are providing TikTok is being used by the Chinese government. And in the same vein, in the same voice, in the same breath, these politicians are using TikTok and promoting TikTok and sponsoring TikTokers to promote their campaigns. I mean, in the same statement in which Trump was asked if he would, do something about the TikTok law, he said, and I quote, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth voters by 34 points. And there are those that say that TikTok had something to do with that. With him suggesting that he won the youth vote. And which, if you know, is not true. Exit poll showed that Trump was 11 points below Kamala Harris in this election with the youth vote for those who were among the ages of 18 to 29. The situation that is arising is Americans, the regular common folk of the world, are preparing for the worst. They're preparing for a TikTok shutdown, and what does that mean for us? And I hate to be the friend that's not woke, but I feel like we will be able to move on. I think that there is a lot TikTok promoting like the fact that there's a lot of businesses that hinge upon TikTok's existence is very true. And there's a lot of creators that also hinge on some of the revenue that TikTok creates. But there's an asterisk to it. And I'm willing to discuss that. I think that there's a lot of things right and a lot of things wrong about the situation. I feel like neither side really is like legitimately talking about. So when it comes to the politicized side of things, yes, ByteDance is a Chinese company. Yes, China technically in that vein owns TikTok. And yes, there is the chance that, the Chinese government has access to American data and they can do whatever they want for it or with it. But we have to keep in mind that American companies have been having access to American data for years. And I think that for a lot of politicians, it's not the fact that it's a Chinese-owned company that's operating it. I think it's the fact that it is data that they cannot access legally, because American tech companies have tried getting stakes within TikTok and trying to acquire parts of TikTok, or trying to get TikTok to license out the access to its algorithm, which has been one of the defining pieces of TikTok's success. People have praised TikTok's algorithm because seemingly it's able to get people, access to the videos that they want to see when they want to see it. It's able to get people to communicate to certain types of audiences faster than a lot of other platforms have been able to do. I think the only other platform that's been able to do something like TikTok has with its algorithm is YouTube. And I feel as if, because of the fact that TikTok's like, oh, we're not licensing this out, like we don't really want to like sell stakes of our company to other companies, like this is like a wholly owned thing, we're not licensing this algorithm out. Politicians and obviously the American tech companies that are lobbying for them to be banned have been, in a tizzy, panicking, trying to be like, well, we want access to that because data is oil. Data is the new oil, as they say. And then you also have the fact that people are also like, American people are looking at politicians crazy for like going forward and banning TikTok, or like endorsing the ban of TikTok, because of the fact that, well, TikTok, we can, there's again the chance that the Chinese government has access to this data and is using this for nefarious reasons. But the only things that we've seen so far of like TikTok being like a bad platform is its algorithm doing some of the certain pitfalls and engaging in some of the racism and engaging in some of the like censorship that other platforms have engaged in. I mean, we can't forget like the 2020 period of like the Black Lives Matter movement, where there were multiple occasions in which TikTok was caught hiding or suppressing those conversations and not really doing too much about like white creators and white posters who were being racist and like criticizing that movement in that era of time. Outside, and also just like, the algorithm encouraging like unhealthy habits and stuff like that can be dangerous to people. But again, that's like what every algorithm on social media platforms have done. You have that, and then you have these American companies which have sold, pulled, and stolen data and private information from users, a lot of which without their consent, and have like sold it to third parties, to advertising partners, have like gotten hacked and have essentially given it away to different companies, and have also failed to like make their algorithms safe to protect these public town squares that people call it, and make them like fairly usable places to have social media platforms. I mean, we can't forget that Facebook was a company that had like the Cambridge Analytica situation, which was something that was pointed to be responsible for how the 2016 election played out, and how misinformation was spread, and how different sort of, situations were playing out. Facebook was seen as the blame for that. Then you had the situations again with Facebook in which several different companies and several different third-party partners were having access to Facebook users' data without, were like giving it away without the approval of these users. They didn't even sign any sort of agreements that knowingly allowed Facebook to do these things. And all we've really gotten out of these situations have been, the very long and drawn out like meetings that have just been like, oh, like, do you understand like what you're doing? And Facebook kind of be like, oh, I don't know. And that's just kind of leaving it at that, because the politicians at hand don't really know how the internet works unless they have to lean into it to try to court voters. And it is just this really annoying thing. And when it comes to the average American who like enjoys TikTok and like really doesn't care about, their data being used, because again, their data is being used by everybody anyways, like no one's really protecting it. You're looking at the politicians crazy, because it's like, okay, so y'all were swift with this action of banning TikTok, but like Facebook and these other companies are still doing the things that they've been doing, and like we just haven't done anything about it. Like we don't care because they're American companies. It's okay if the Americans do it, but if China does something like this, like, oh, God forbid. And it's like, yes, we understand that China is this, it's presented to be this really scary, super like foreign enemy, foreign power, which, is a lot more in common between both regimes than they say. But there's just this like, I don't know. I feel like most Americans don't care. Like they just want a place, like they want an enjoyable social media platform that isn't going to do them as dirty, or at least be a little bit entertaining while they take some of their data. Like it just is something that they want to, have access to. That's not a Facebook. That's not an Instagram. That's not a Twitter. Because now you have stuff like Twitter in which the app is unusable. The platform is unusable. And there's bots everywhere, even though the head of the company who acquired it after they tried backing out of the deal was not wanting to, just like they were saying that they were going to get rid of bots and stuff like that. And they've just made the platform like a conservative, like super haven. And, there's just that kind of stuff. You have, then you go to like the potential losses of, this platform being banned. I think, yes, businesses, especially small businesses, will take a hit because of the fact that the TikTok platform had a lot of, access to, viewers, and businesses were able to make TikToks promoting the business and just push it out. They were able to make like call to action campaigns or like get people engaged and come to visit the restaurant. You had, people, whether they were influencers or like influencers like Keith Lee, who were visiting restaurants and like gaining appeal and getting exposure and just really breaking out and getting success because they were visiting these restaurants and helping put restaurants on the map. Or even just like people who like unintentionally became famous, like the Nisha girl who was like, Nisha, who was the chicken salad girl, where she's like, y'all better come over here and get one of these. It's a chicken salad. Like people like that who just like unintentionally become successful and famous, promoting these different businesses and stuff like that will get hit and will get impacted for sure. And that definitely sucks. But I think over time they are going to, recover or find a way around it. Then you have the creators who are taking a hit. So, like, again, I hate to be the not woke friend on a Monday evening. Is it Monday? Yes, it's Monday the 16th. But I really don't care about those creators and shit. Listen, because like I get that TikTok is able to get people to make money from like the TikTok shop and like some ads, because there's like that one little like ad program and then like gifts and stuff like that. But I feel like a lot of the successful TikTokers or like the TikTokers that want longevity have already made their moves to like Twitch or like YouTube or even Instagram, like platforms that have already kind of proven themselves to be established and have like a fairly consistent advertising or like monetization platform. TikTok hasn't really gotten that. The only times they've really kind of cemented something like that was the TikTok shop, and the app kind of went to shit when they got the TikTok shop enabled. Because like now everybody's trying to push their affiliate links and try to push their brands and like push loops and stuff like that. And the quality of the app has gone down a little bit because of the TikTok shop. And then you have like YouTube with AdSense, which even though AdSense and like ad revenue, most creators not going to talk about it, but ad revenue has not been as strong or as good of a coin as it's been in the past. It's still been consistent. And then like Twitch's program, which has been consistent, even though there's been issues. Most successful TikTokers have already kind of like, they've made their shifts. Like they've already kind of started making content over on YouTube, and they've already started getting a lot of traction and a lot of support on there anyways, or Twitch. So it's like, most of the creators that like are making content that is at least generally entertaining enough to transfer over, they've kind of already done that, or they've done podcasts, whatever they've done, they've already done something to kind of like transfer that over and really hit it off with people. I feel like those who have not made that jump are going to be the ones that are going to like get bit in the dust, and it's like it sucks, yes, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like either you just are not making good enough content to make that transfer over, or like you just waited too long, and that's like kind of on you. And like, I'm not trying to be like mean or strict or like, yeah, this gets given not woke friend, but like, I feel like those who are really going to be like upset about like the creator, like TikTok creators like losing out on that type of stuff is like, you're at like, what's her name? Like Ash, is it Ash Trevino? And like that one girl off Baddies who's like doing lives now after she got fired. Like, it's gonna be people who like put all their eggs in the TikTok basket and are now just like screwed because they haven't done anything else worthwhile. And it's just kind of like, well, you're not making good content, so it's like, it's kind of on you. Like, this is what you get. Like, you can, at the end of the day, you could just move on Instagram and do what you need to do, and that's just kind of all you need to do. And then you have like the rest of us who are like, okay, so like TikTok shut down. What am I gonna do with my free time? Girl, get a job. Girl, get a job. I'm so excited though, because like, I know for me personally, if TikTok shuts down, because who knows what happens. Like, they could really do that like Supreme Court thing, and the Supreme Court could be like, oh, like, this is violating free speech, keep the app open or whatever, or like the app could shut down. If the app does shut down, I'm kind of assuming that the app is going to get banned. I'm just gonna like, I'm not really transferring over to another platform because I already watch YouTube a lot. YouTube is usually like, I usually watch most of my like, or spend most of my time watching YouTube when I'm like online doing stuff. I feel like I'm not going to transfer to another app. Like, it's really going to be like, oh, like, this time is gone. I might just like either stay like just a small uptick on YouTube, because again, I'm already watching a lot of YouTube, or like, I'm just going to spend that time doing activities. Like, I'm going to read my books. Play my games, play Fortnite, because y'all know I love Fortnite. Use code CakeDive at checkout on Epic Games Launcher to get your credits to help me support a creator. Code at CakeDive, like, support me. Use the code at checkout where you get your V-Bucks and back bling and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna be spending my time doing that. Like, I really don't think I want to transfer to another app, because like, no shade, like, I love a lot of these apps, and I'm a YouTube creator, so like, I'm gonna be using YouTube now. But like, a lot of these, like, no shade, like, a lot of these other platforms just really don't be given to me personally. And it's not like I don't have any like hatred or disinterest, except for Facebook, which I'm not using Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. But I don't know, like, I use it in a healthy enough way, which is like, I really don't need these apps as much as like I would, or like, I don't spend as much time on these apps as I would on like TikTok. And even then, like, some of the platforms I'm already pulling back on. Like, I know I'm going to be leaving Twitter at some point, and then Instagram's kind of there. Like, I use it for promo here and there, and then I'm on Blue Sky. So if y'all trying to follow me on Blue Sky, y'all follow me at CakeDive at bsky.social. At CakeDive, I'm there. And that's really like it. Like, it's really not. And then like, this is just it, kind of it. Like, I'm just kind of chilling. Like, it's really just kind of that. And I feel like that's going to be a lot of people. Like, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to, like, transfer over. Like, it's kind of giving what happened with the shutdown of Vine, because I remember a lot of people were, like, sad when Vine was shutting down. And, like, people were being like, oh, like, we're going to move to Instagram and all this type of stuff. And, like, most of the successful Viners and stuff like that, or the people who used to be successful and, like, popular during that time, had already made their transfer over to YouTube or to Instagram and were already kind of, like, doing their things. Mind you, a good bunch of them Viners, the worst Viners, like the King Bashes of the world, made Zeus. So, like, that's how I blame y'all for making them successful. They got successful. They did they stuff to transfer over and be successful. I'm not gonna, like, I blame y'all for that, but I can't hate, because they did they stuff to get their bag. Or have gotten into, like, other influencing and different content spaces like that. And then most of the other people just kind of, like, fell off, or, like, they just kind of made content on Instagram or YouTube or somewhere else casually, or they just kind of stopped posting on Vine. And a lot of people, like, some of them probably used Instagram a little bit more, some of them used YouTube a little bit more. But I think I remember when Vine shut down, because I used Vine, I wasn't really on any. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to move to another platform and stuff like that. I was just like, well, I'm just using YouTube already, so, like, I'm just going to watch YouTube, or, like, spend that time doing something else. And then TikTok came along, and that was kind of hit. I feel like the same thing's going to happen when TikTok shuts down. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like, there's going to be some smaller upticks on other platforms. I think YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels would probably be the two formats that gain popularity and kind of get a hold over time if TikTok gets banned. But that's really kind of it. Like, I don't think most people are going to, like, transfer to a new app or something like that. And it's because of the fact that, like, a lot of these apps gain success from, like, once of a kind, like, lock-ins and successes and, like, moments. Like, we can't forget that TikTok literally blew up and became a popular platform because of the fact that, everybody was on lockdown because of the pandemic. Nobody had anything else to do. So it's like most of the people who were who heard of TikTok, who weren't really interested in playing and hopping on TikTok before the pandemic, hopped on because they had nothing better to do, or they were seeing different things that were, like, enticing them onto the platform. Plus, TikTok had a massive advertising campaign that got the brand recognized during that time. So a lot of people fell into it. I don't think there's going to be another platform for, like, at least the next couple of years that's going to have something like that unlock in the way that TikTok did. And that's just me, no shade. That's my thoughts, no shade. But that's all I got. I hope y'all enjoyed my thoughts on TikTok. Am I going to be sad if TikTok gets banned? Yes. But, it just seems to be the state of the world, just says all you need to know about that. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow on YouTube, where you get episodes before anyone else. Turn on those notifications, babes. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, love y'all so much. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, share the show, and give the show a good rating if you're on your favorite podcast platform, because it helps. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.